Oh gosh, these are the flies that
They're
they
called
like.
bot flies, is that what you said?
Yeah, bot flies. They like lay their eggs in your skin,
Ew.
and then oh my gosh, YouTube it. It's like people. It's like
No, I don't
it's
want to
you.
YouTube
It's
that. This is On Call.
House would be really cool to just wear scrubs all the time. Then you don't have to think about what you're going to wear to work.
joke.
That's awesome.
We're here to answer your questions.
We can sit down and discuss all. Wait, I gotta go. I'm on call.
Wait, you're on call? I thought I was on call.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of On Call with April and Alicia. I'm Alicia,
I'm April.
and it's still fall.
It is. And the
That's
fall
all.
weather is actually back. I woke up this morning and
Oh, you
it was
sound
like
nasally.
48 degrees outside. Do I?
Just in there's the way you said it for just a moment.
Oh,
I know you've been
I don't
traveling.
feel sick. I have been
Maybe at
traveling, so
the
God
hospital,
knows.
or I said the hospital, the airplane ick.
Well, I was in a hospital traveling for work.
Yes.
So
And you're
it
also
could
on the
be any of the
airplane.
icks. And I was also at Disney, so it could be any of the,
Oh, good Lord.
it
What'd you
could
guys
be,
do at Disney?
the rails and the, lines that you touch.
Everything that you've touched the
Yeah.
whole time.
Which funny
Well-
story about that. I was in line with my younger daughter for a ride, and there was this couple behind us, and I don't know if the wife was like a germaphobe or what, but anytime the husband touched the railing, she would like freak out. She was like, "Stop touching that!" And I was like, "This lady really doesn't like these railings, like the germs on them." It was funny.
Ugh. It
Yeah.
makes me think of our dear friend Jill Burno.
Yes.
We always anytime I have some kind of like disease confrontation or potential outbreak situation, she's always the first one. I'm like, you'll understand what I mean by this. This was gross, right? Like,
Yeah, which
Um,
admittedly, like during COVID, when we would go to theme parks, I wouldn't let my kids touch the railing. I would be like, "Stop it," and I would say it to them every time.
oh my gosh, like
So-
our phones are so gross, or just our
Oh,
phones
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
I always laugh when people are like, it's so gross. Like, I'm not going to take my cup into the bathroom with me because that's gross. I'm like, but you took your phone in, and then you you sat
And you
there on the
probably had it
toilet
out
with your
sitting in the
phone.
stall
You
somewhere.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let's like not pretend that nobody takes their phone in with them. And then you flush the toilet, and then you go wash your hands. Did you wash your phone? I mean, I don't know. I think we pick and
That's
choose, but
very true.
I don't know. I like to make a mess. Well, speaking of making a mountain out of molehill, um, when we last talked for APP week, I was in Cabo, and it was a fantastic, fantastic single getaway. It was great. Again, I just strongly recommend you guys um, find your solo energy and go do it. It was so much fun. But I had this obsession around flies down there because I don't know if it was just the time of the year, and I'm sure it was. But if you even remotely have any like type of food item or drink item, it's suddenly this, like there were flies everywhere, and it's open, like the restaurants are open at the resort, it's like kind of more of an open area, so you can't keep them out of everything. But I like to sit outside, and I like to sit at the water, and I like, you kind of pay for the view. So there were these flies that I swear I was like, these are bot flies. And I had this whole obsession around these flies down there. That, have you ever seen bot flies?
I don't think so.
Oh gosh, these are the flies that
They're
they
called
like.
bot flies. Is that what you said?
Yeah, bot flies. They like lay their eggs in your skin,
Ew.
and then oh my gosh, YouTube it. It's like people. It's like
No, I don't
it's
want to
you.
YouTube
It's
that.
like YouTube porn, like for people that they
Ugh.
like poppers. Of like, I don't like popping stuff. Or at least watching the videos. I don't like that. But yeah, they literally like a more like the rainforest, like Costa Rica, those areas, the Amazon. These flies are big, but they like lay on you, then they like lay their eggs in you, and then you get this like lump. You don't know what it is, and then they cut it out, and it's a bunch of freaking botfly babies under your skin. It happens.
I wish you could see my face right now because it's like a face of like total disgust. Like I'm
Jeez, I
ready
can't
to
wait
throw
till we
up.
get on our video
That's so
platform. That's
gross.
coming, guys. It's coming. I promise. Yes,
Oh.
it's disgusting, but that's what I kept thinking about.
But those flies are where you were?
No, but they were
Oh.
huge. They were just the biggest
Oh.
flies I'd seen. And I was like, what if they are bot flies? So I kind of ruined my own experience. It to some
Oh,
degree,
Lord.
because I was like, I just won't eat at the pool. You know, like I'm not going to order food, so then I don't have bot flies laying their babies in me. Well,
In your food?
yeah. Also, I probably have to declare that in customs or immigration when I
I'm
come
bringing home
back.
some flies.
I'm bringing home bot flies.
I have like sometimes worried if like, you know, a big fly gets in my house. And I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna lay eggs somewhere in my house? I'm gonna have all these little baby flies like running around. So I try to kill them as soon as I can. Baxter eats them usually for me.
Eat flies?
Yes. He will like chase them. Like I'll just hear
Really?
this like random like
Snaps at them?
yeah, and I will hear like a random like him just randomly running into the window. And I'm like, what is
Oh my-
going on? And he's trying to get a fly that's like in between the blinds. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But he usually gets them for me. So
We got a fly zapper. I found
like one of
at
the fly
Menards.
swatters that's a zapper.
It's a swatter, but it's like, and I know it sounds inhumane, but they're flies. Come on, people.
Oh
Yes,
no, I will not judge
flies
you at all for
are
that.
there's like flies are so nasty to me. It's like fly when they land on food and people are like, just swat it and keep eating. I'm like, they just puked on your food, and now they're gonna. Isn't that what they do? Like I think they like vomit on. I don't know what they. Let's not talk about it anyway.
I don't know.
Well, bot flies is a medical mystery, right? But listen, I think it's time we did two back to back, fact or fiction, fake or for reals. But what I really enjoyed that we did last month was our headlines, healthcare headlines.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about this already, but let's take this episode for healthcare headlines that does not have to do with bot flies.
All right. Sounds good to me.
And we'll take it away for October.
I will
'Cause
say though,
It's October. What the heck?
I know, I can't believe it. Like the year's flying by.
I can't. It was just my birthday. You know,
Yeah.
like I
Wow.
just feel like it was just the beginning of the year. Where okay. Anyway, we're lamenting now. Now, where is my vitamin D light? I need my vitamin D light. Okay, let's go. I don't have it yet, but wait till we get on video. I'm gonna have a big one.
Yeah.
So what I liked that we did the last time, April, was healthcare headlines, and I kind of missed it. So what do you think? I know that we already
Fun.
talked that we're going to do this, so you don't get to say no. But let's take this episode with some healthcare headlines, digging up some stuff from the basement.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Okay,
I
why
do
don't you
have to
kick us
say,
Ooh,
when I was looking for articles about this, there's one that came up about dust mites.
bot flies? Oh,
No,
okay.
dust mites, but there was like all these little bug pictures, and it made me think of. Do you remember like an anatomy class or what? I don't remember what class it was. They showed that video of all the bugs that live around you all the time, and I was like, oh my God, I can't read
Well,
this article.
dust mites were a big one. I remember in school, this might have been nursing, about like asthma. You know, that was always like a big thing
Yeah.
about babies or young children with stuffed animals and like
Yeah.
to keep those things out of cribs and out of beds. And I was always like, why? And it's always like because of dust, but it's really like the dust mites, right?
Yeah.
And they're like
Yep. Yeah. Anyways,
that's
okay,
like
no more
sand
bug talk.
fleas, that's scabies.
Oh.
There's there's a lot of bed bugs. I mean, we could
don't
keep
even go
going
there.
if you
No,
like
no, no.
to.
We're done. We're done.
We're gonna do a whole episode on bugs, y'all.
No, because then I won't like sleep for a week. Bugs are like, I can't do it.
You know, do you check your mattress when you go to a hotel?
No,
You don't?
because I actually don't.
Oh, April.
But there was
Listen, they're
there was
equal
one time
opportunity
where-
employer, okay? Bed bugs don't care how much money
I
you
know.
have or don't have.
I know. I know.
They
that's
will
very
find
true.
you. They will find you.
I know. I know they will. I can't. Ugh.
All right, well, we gotta
anyways.
face reality. Maybe our listeners want to know. Hey, let us know, guys, if you want to hear about bed bugs and
you
dust
wanna
mites
hear
and
about all the
scabies. And if you do, we'll do a special episode, an ID episode.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I
Knock
had
us out.
one time I saw this patient, and then after I left the room, the nurse called me. and was like, "We think this patient has bed bugs," and I like legit ran into the bathroom and like was
Freak out.
immediately shaking out my clothes. in the
Listen,
bathroom.
I'll be.
Not
I'll
that I
be.
think that's gonna help at all.
I
But
will be majorly vulnerable with you here. My brother, I won't say his name because I have several, worked at the hospital that I worked at, and his fiance at the time was one of the nurses. And he he was in the Air Force. So for the summer he'd come home or he's at the academy. So summer he would come home and then he was a transporter. And it was the year Matt and I were getting married and probably several weeks before our wedding. And my oldest daughter had stayed at my mom's house, and that's where my brother was staying during the summer. And she comes home and she has all these bites on her arm.
Oh.
And my mom has nothing, but she slept with my mom. But short story, my brother must have brought a bed bug home from work or bed bugs because they could like these exterminator people are brilliant. They're able to tell like exactly like where was the index place, but it started in the room he was staying in the hamper. So they were like, it had to have come off his clothing somewhere, but they like migrate through the floorboard, you know, like the trim and then up to the beds. Cause that's like the body is its life source, but they'd made its way into my mom's room. I had everybody right before my wedding at my house, staying at my house. And my biggest fear was not that I would been completely overloaded by my entire family, but
If they brought the bugs.
Did they bring them with them? That's all I could remember. That's all I
would think about too.
I was like, I will torch this house, which does not land well, given the fact that our house did actually burn up this year. So, but it wasn't because of bed bugs. But yes, it was awful. And that's why I always say like they don't discriminate. And yes, we go, ew, it's gross or whatever, but you get a movie theater anywhere. You just got to pay attention.
Yeah,
you got to look at your corners of your mattresses, Abe.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
All right. Anyways, I totally derailed us. Okay. So,
that's all right.
headlines.
People wanted to hear about this.
Yeah.
We might do a part 1 and part 2 again. Who
You're
knows?
probably all itchy right now listening to us. Okay.
Good itchy Wednesday evening if you're listening to this when it first comes out.
It could be itchy with us because I'm going to itch all day. Okay.
That's right. It's nighttime and all of you guys are scratching yourselves. All right, let's go.
All right. So my first one is it's not actually like a news headline, but something that I got to see recently in person that I thought was really cool. So I wanted to tell you about it. So there is a new PA school that's getting ready to start near me. And so at my hospital,
for people who don't know.
Oh, physician assistant school. So we are going to be precepting their students at my hospital where I work clinically. And so a few of us went over to tour the school and like see all the technology and stuff. And so they have this table called an anatomage table. Have you heard of this?
No.
Yeah. So it's called an anatomage. And this is just one brand of this table. I think there's a few of them, but it is the coolest thing. So it's, you know, so you turn on the table and you see a human body, like, you know, laying on the table, and you can dissect it. You can practice procedures on it, like practice placement of like a lumbar puncture, for instance. Like they showed us how you can take the patient and move them and then, you know, change the direction of your needle and change the position of your needle to like practice procedures. But you can also like dissect it any way that you want. So you can take the skin off and see just bones. You could see just nerves and how they run through the body. You can see the blood vessels. We could isolate the heart and look at the vessels in the heart and watch it beating and watch the blood flow. Like it was the coolest thing. But then also you can upload cases. Like you can, you know, say you have a case that you think is cool or a learning case, you can upload the information on the case. And then the table will make those physical findings on these patients. It's so amazing. Wow. Like I think when I was in school, I would have spent hours on this table. So I know last week during our APP week episode, we talked about education and things like that. So I just thought it's interesting to see how much it's advancing from when we were in PA school and when we were in school.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah. I mean, we had, did you have cadaver lab?
We did, which this program will do a cadaver lab as well, because you just can't replace that experience, you know, but
I was going to say creepy is not the right word. It's interesting for anybody like listening that's actually in healthcare that has done cadaver lab. It is I think my very first time in cadaver lab was challenging for me because it was, you know, they put the bag over, you know, the head for the most part, but it was just a little weird at first where I was like, oh, like this, I'm like, oh, sorry. Like I wanted to say, oh, sorry. Like that was a little rough. Did that hurt? But there's
Right.
no one talking to you. But like, I think we get so used to mannequins that cadavers make it more real. But even this thing sounds like, oh, like
Yeah,
incredible.
it's so cool. We were all like amazed. I mean, there was three of us, four of us maybe that, practiced clinically together at our hospital, and it was really cool. So
That's awesome. I like that. It's PA
yeah.
week. We'll have to talk about that a little bit later
Yes.
anyway, right? So
Yeah.
great way to lead that one off. I like that. All right. So my headline, my healthcare headline, Huntington's disease. This is something we don't talk about a lot, right? But if just imagine if you're like sitting around a family that's like been told for generations that Huntington's disease is just inevitably, it's a devastating neurodegenerative disease. It robs your movement, your mind, your personality. But it seems like now, like for the first time, there may be a little bit of hope. There was a small but groundbreaking trial for patients who received a viral vector gene, excuse me, that infused directly into the brain. It did show a 75% slowing of the disease progression over 3 years. Now, the therapy, I thought that was like cool, but how they do it is interesting. They literally, the neurosurgeons literally deliver the therapy by drilling into the skull. It makes me think of lobotomies. We were doing those to treat mental illnesses, but they delivered the therapy. They drilled directly into the skull. They injected into the striatum, and then they kind of seal things up and see what happens after that. But apparently the therapy silences the faulty Huntington gene. It cuts down its protein. It doesn't allow it to reproduce. And then that's basically akin to putting the brakes on like replication from a DNA perspective. So it's a small trial. But if you think about it, I was thinking about it more in the sense of it's just a glimmer of hope for a lot of these neurodegenerative illnesses that we deal with, Alzheimer's, ALS, and even like psychiatric diseases. If this works, these all have genetic underpinnings. And if this works for that, we may be able to really be able to go after these even more devastating neurodegenerative diseases. So I just thought that was a very interesting study.
It is interesting. I mean, I think I would be super freaked out to have something injected right into my brain, but I think that compared to the alternative of this, the disease, the sickle of the disease.
I mean, your movement, your mind, Huntington's is terrible. And but so as we've seen, ALS devastating. And you know what? It's really not fair to label it, ALS as more devastating as something else. It's all devastating, but it's terrible. And we're going through it personally right now to watch a family member lose their cognition. And it's definitely a disease that affects the family, very similar to addiction. So just I think maybe being a little bit more close to it now, it does offer a little bit of hope that there may be some alternative therapies in the future.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks. I'm pretty cool.
I know. Sometimes.
Only on days that ended in Y. Thank you. Okay, what do you got?
That's definitely not true. Okay. The next one I have is synthetic blood. Have you heard about the research around this? Yeah.
I know about synthetic blood from a theater perspective. Like when we were in theater, we had to use fake blood, which was either ketchup or something weird.
Probably not something you would infuse in a patient.
No, nothing that actually saves their lives. It just looks gory.
Yeah. So there's all this research around synthetic blood. So you, which obviously has a lot of implication, like use cases, military being one of them, right? In the battlefield, you could potentially give patients blood transfusions, also out in the field, places where you can't store, because human blood that's donated needs to be stored, specific temperatures and all that sort of thing. And so there's a lot of work around, there's some research going on now about creating synthetic blood that is actually stored as like a freeze-dried powder. And
gosh. It's like moon blood.
Yeah, well, kind of, but then you use saline to mix it and then to give it. And so what they do is they take the hemoglobin, from the blood, which is our, the the protein that nourishes our blood with oxygen. They're taking that and essentially creating like artificial red blood cells with the hemoglobin. And so in the US, actually in Maryland, there at the University of Maryland, there is studies going on rabbits to do this. And so far on animals, it seems relatively safe, but of course human trials have to happen. But in Japan, they're also doing it, which is interesting because I was, my experience with in Japan recently. But so they're actually doing some human testing there of this. So it's interesting. There's a lot of, it could solve our blood shortage, right? Like we're always looking for blood products for patients, and there's also less risk of infection and things like that from the blood that you receive. There's less risk of rejection, all those things.
I was going to ask you what the rejection, like, did they talk about that at all?
Yeah.
Like what did that look like?
They think that the rejection will be less because the cells don't have, what we would have on our outside of our cells that cause like the proteins on the outside of the cells that would cause our body to reject it. So it would be less risk of rejection. So.
Oof.
It's interesting.
Well, yeah, it is. I'm just the reason I said like the moon, when I say like the moon, moon packet or whatever, like, do you remember like all of what are those called? It's the things, it's three letters. Somebody out there is screaming.
MREs.
And thank you. I was like, Somebody's like, get it together, Alicia. MREs. So it's like MRE blood. It's kind of what it sounds like in your little moon pack.
It's like a freeze-dried blood that you can carry. And, you're out in the field and you could easily have it ready to give a patient. So it's interesting.
Okay.
I think it will also make patients, maybe a little less hesitant to take it. I mean, after my first C-section, like they wanted to give me blood and I was really hesitant because of all the potential risks of it. I don't know. It was interesting because I was practicing at the time and had transfused many patients, right? But when it was me, I was just a little hesitant. I guess I was like worried about risks and stuff. And actually, when I had my second one, my dad proactively donated blood in case I needed it for me. So he went in and donated it in case I needed it. But I don't know why I don't know. It was also like just a rough time. It's a rough C-section. So, I was, but I was in one of those situations where it was like, we could give it to you or we could wait. Like it was kind of on the borderline.
So you were,
I think if my physician had said, you have to do this, like I would have obviously. Right. But given the choice, I was like, oh, I'll eat some iron instead.
I know. Well, I think it probably leads us all back to Ryan White. And I know that sounds morbid, but what Ryan White was the young, was he 12 or 13? I think we talked about him on another podcast, but the kid that got HIV from his blood transfusion. But it is interesting when you think about it happening to yourself. That's kind of why I asked you that, because I don't think I've never needed blood that I am aware of, unless I got it during a procedure that I don't remember.
Yeah, they would have told you.
I would think so, but I don't think I've ever thought about how I would feel about that. But when you said that, it did strike something personal in me. So that's why I was asking you, like, tell me more about that, because maybe we need to have a little bit more grace for patients in those moments.
I mean, it did. It made me, because I had the conversation with, many patients at that time, before then, to say, hey, like, we're recommending a transfusion. These are the risks. And, so to be the person in that situation it was different, when it was me. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's actually great medicine to practice, in my opinion, is when you can actually take your personal experiences and project them forward. I think that makes us better providers if we are willing to open our minds that way. Okay. So from going from blood and what, obviously something that the body needs, I'm going to go to something a little bit more mainstream here. What our bodies don't always need, but what we're doing a lot of is Ozempic recently, right? We're hearing a lot about Ozempic. But here's one thing that really blew my mind. We have all these weight loss, these diabetes drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and they work by mimicking a hormone that's called a GLP-1, right? So these are our GLP-1 meds. We've always been taught that GLP-1s come from the gut. but it turns out your pancreas makes them as well. So your alpha cells, the same ones that normally raise your blood sugar with glucagon, can actually flip internally and switch and start making GLP instead. So to me, I was thinking about this, like, it's like discovering your pancreas has kind of been sitting as a blockbuster drug this whole time. And we've just not been using it. Instead, we're like finding these synthetic GLP-1s. What could we do if we actually coax ourselves to crank it up on their own?
Yeah.
And actually act as their own GLP-1s. So study's still in process, but what I just find interesting is that we're supplementing something that our body can make. And I don't know, wouldn't it just be wild if like the next phase of medicine isn't really giving people more drugs, but it's actually teaching their bodies to unlock what we already make?
Yeah.
And so this wasn't really more like, I don't have a big conclusion here, but it was more of a discussion story for me, because I was like, I'm sure our body is brilliant. Our body really is brilliant if you think about it. I was having a discussion about coronary artery disease with a dear friend. He's an older gentleman who lives in Cabo, actually. And it's interesting to talk to somebody about medicine and how they experience everything there, because they have to pay everything up front.
Right.
And I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing this, but he had pneumonia and went into heart failure. I mean, he was like multi-system organ failure by the time he got to the hospital. So he's now got an EF of like less than 30, and he doesn't understand medicine. His family is from Sinaloa, and he's only got these 2 children. And so every time that when I go down there, he's one of the neighbors. And so we'll talk, and he's like, "How, like, I'm going in for this heart testing," which I didn't determine was angiogram, but he's basically got vessel occlusion. But he was trying to explain to me how his LAD had created like what do they call those? Like their runoffs, basically, for blood flow. So his mind was so blown at the fact that he has this occlusion, and he's like, I should be dead, but he's not, because his heart created collaterals for blood flow. And I just think the body is so amazing. What if we could just start tapping into what the body does naturally? I don't know.
It's true. I mean, it's
pipe dreamy thing for me, but yeah, it's fascinating.
It is. I mean, the body is, I mean, I randomly will think about like that when I'm like driving my car. I'm like, it's pretty cool how we like do all these things ourselves, like in this body of ours. But I mean, I see it too. And like, there's a lot, and we talked about this during one of our episodes, but there's a lot of supplements that people are saying will just boost your own natural metabolism.
What is that?
For turmeric was one of them.
Yeah.
Ginger is another one. So, taking studies are showing that just taking those, which, then you have to figure out side effects of those, but just it can boost your own natural metabolism. So,
and then there's a perfect balance there too, because that balance is you can go too hardcore, like for some people, you can go too hardcore Western medicine. Right. And that's like, let's just throw a drug at everything and not maybe make the actual person responsible for some of the outcome. Or you can go far left, and it's like, it's herbs, and I like respect both approaches. But drugs are drugs to me. And we did an episode on this, even like our herb. Let's check our herbs. Look, when you're taking herbs, those are drugs. They're not always FDA regulated. But there's something, I think, in our psyche, at least maybe as Americans, that tell us that they're healthier substitutions. But it's interesting, like, that you could go to 5 herbs for 1 blood pressure med. And that's where my mind starts asking a lot of questions, like, well, why do I need a 5-to-1 versus a 1-to-1 just because it's made by a drug company? Like, but they're legit, in my mind, legit questions. But I do think that there also are alternatives that require a buy-in from the actual consumer, which is us. Hello, patients. We actually have to do some work too. We just can't expect the pill to be the magic pill. And I think that's largely what we battle. So anyway, GLP-1s, guys, you want your Ozempic? You got your own resources. We just got to figure out how to stimulate them.
There you go.
All right. Next round. Let's go one more round here.
All right. My next one is is around robotic surgery. So
Ew.
yeah, I thought this was interesting because it makes total sense to me of why we would need to do this. So there is some developments in robotic surgery with what they're calling haptic feedback. So
Hmm.
what it does is it provides the surgeons with a sense of touch during like minimally invasive surgeries when they're using the robot, right? So obviously if you're using a robot, you're not feeling that tissue or you're not feeling any pressure against whatever it is you're trying to cut or whatever. And so these robots will have sensors on them, like on the surgical instruments, that will transmit real time feedback into what the surgeon is holding, like the surgeon's console.
So seeing haptic is what happens when haptics is what we have with our iPhones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like where they kind of, is that what you're talking about? Like that vibration feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep.
So yeah, so it will kind of sort of help them figure out, like, is there a lot of resistance here or whatever, and it can help them adjust the pressure of their movements, and which is really important, especially if it's like friable tissue, right? Like if it's delicate tissue that you're working with. And so so there's some new developments around that, which I thought was really interesting.
I feel like that's in everything too. It's in our cars. Like, especially you get a rental car. Have you ever?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever gotten a rental car? Sometimes I think if we could just put like cameras in rental cars for the first 30 minutes that the person gets it, because learning a new car is pretty hilarious.
I'm laughing because I was just in a rental car.
Yes. So like when it gets that somebody gets too close, or you get, and it's like beep beep beep, it like beeps at you, but it also is like, and you're like, you're having this like moment in your car, like I don't know what just happened, but I just wrecked my car because you tried to warn me about not wrecking my car.
Well, and they're so angry. I mean, so I drive an old car. Like I drive a 2012 minivan because I don't go anywhere. Like I just stay home most days, like on a daily basis. I don't go a lot of places. So we're keeping my van alive as long as I can. And so there is no like, oh, hey, you're about to go into somebody else. You're about to go into like there was no, warning of anything. And so I get in this car when I driving the last 2 days when I was traveling for work, and I get in, and the very first time I like went to switch a lane or something, the car felt like I got too close to another car, and it like angrily starts screaming at me. And I was like, what is going on? Like,
it pulls the wheel back from you, like, you stupid human. Why are you driving this car? I'm like, then you just do it. Okay. You do it.
Or you get too close to a line and it's like vibrating like crazy, and you're like, what is wrong with you? Like,
Yes, it's terrible. It really is. But then I end up laughing at myself because I always do some kind of like some moment that it just completely catches me off guard. I just think it would be funny to see everybody get in a car they don't like. If you got in my car is it doesn't have a gear like in the regular gear place, like either down at the bottom in the middle of the console, or like the one that you like crank down. Its gear is managed by like what you would do for your windshield wipers. So I thought I was really cool when I bought my car, and I was like, no, I don't need you to tell me anything about it. I got this all figured out. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
How to drive.
It's fine. And I sat there for a minute and I was like, I don't even know how to put it in reverse. Where is reverse? Like, I didn't know. I sat there out of straight pride. You guys would all be proud of me. Straight pride. I was not going to ask. I Googled.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was not going to get back out and tell my sales associate that I did not know how to reverse the car.
He probably wondered what you were doing sitting in the car.
He probably was like, yeah, I figured her out this whole time. She's been a pain in the butt the whole time. So
it's makes me laugh because the first time I got an Uber that was a Tesla.
Oh my gosh. You couldn't get in the door?
To get in the door. Like I'm like standing, because usually like the Uber driver will like get out and like, put your bag in, and some will open the door for you. This person didn't. They just sort of sat in the car. So I threw the bag in the trunk,
and I'm like, Uber X, not Comfort or Black, honey. I'm not getting out.
So I'm like standing at the door for like probably a full minute, and like staring, and I'm like, I see the handle, but I'm like, I don't know how to do this, and I look like an idiot, and I don't want to break this guy's car.
So oh my God, I just snorted. That was so funny.
Oh my God. I was like, oh, he probably thinks I'm an idiot.
I think, listen, if we're all being honest with ourselves, we can all think about the moment that we first walked up to a Tesla and did not know how to open the door. If anybody out there goes, "Oh, I knew from the beginning," you're a liar. I'm sorry. You're just a liar.
It's just not intuitive at all. I'm not open
It's
the
not.
door.
You have to push it for it to come out at you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I don't know. Just open the daggone door. Like,
Right.
it self-drives, self-open the doors. I don't know. Okay.
But
all right.
driving all these rental cars makes me want to stick with my van. I'm just gonna say that. I
Aw.
don't need all these bells and whistles. I just want to get in my car and drive. But
Oh, I get actually mad when my backup camera stops working because for some reason I realize I didn't learn how to drive with a backup camera, but I've
You're so
I've
dependent
become
on it now.
somewhat dependent on it. Yeah, more so than I thought. That when it went out, I was like, wait, I spent more time trying to figure out why it went out than just backing out of my driveway.
Yep.
You know? Okay, all right. Speaking of things coming back and regenerations of things and all kinds of things that are Teslas, I don't know, none of that made sense. But here's my final story. Tooth regeneration. Have you heard about this?
What is it?
Tooth regeneration.
No.
So I'm going to ask you a question before I tell you just a brief excerpt. If you knew you could grow teeth whenever you needed them, would you really take care of your teeth? Or would
yeah,
you?
I would, because I think I
Okay.
don't know. I'm like worried about my teeth.
I am too,
Not-
but
not
that's
weird
because
about
you know
them, but
you,
I'm like-
you got your final set right now. So I always get these dreams.
I guess that's true, but I don't want
Somebody
my
out
teeth to
here.
hurt.
I don't either. I don't know if I call it a biggest fear, but I always have this dream that I have a loose tooth. And somebody out here is going to be like, that
Super
really
random.
means that you're insecure about life. Like somebody's going to tell me something like that. And you may be right. I don't know. But I have this dream. And in my dream, one of my two front teeth, the larger teeth, are loose. Loose to a point like you're a kid and you sat there and worked it with your tooth. Or, I mean, excuse me, with your tongue, where you're just like, oh yeah, this bad boy's about to come out. But as an adult, it's a different kind of angst because you're like,
'Cause that
it's going
tooth
to
is
come
not
out,
going
but there's
there.
nothing behind it,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So I thought this story was interesting because it does sound straight out of science fiction. But Japanese researchers right now are testing a drug that can block a protein. It's called USAG-1. So USAG-1. It basically lifts the brakes on your hidden tooth buds, which is what the tooth buds are what prevent us growing another set. So the result is people, if they can block this USAG-1, they can actually regrow missing teeth. So they've already started with trials with kids who are born without certain teeth. And get this, they use this with ferrets because their tooth
Interesting.
patterns mimic ours more than mice do. And the ferrets regrew their molars.
Mm.
So if this works, dentures and implants are gonna
Gone.
be gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be done. But I was like, also, maybe I'll stop dreaming about it because I'll know I can grow.
Because now you don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I ever worry about is my teeth.
Interesting.
Like chipping a tooth or losing a tooth. As an
Hold on.
adult, you can't hide that.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually. I think it was
That's wild.
It is. I mean, I know people who have had, repeated dental issues despite getting multiple caps and all root
Yeah, you got to
canals
get
and
like
stuff
screws
that.
in your mouth and like
Yeah.
they
I mean,
like
it's-
implant these things. Like back in the day they did wooden teeth.
Yeah.
George Washington, baby. I got a whole thing to tell you about why people wore wigs back in the day too. It's not for what you think. This will be on our next healthcare headlines.
That's funny. But no, I think it would be. I mean, I actually tell the dentist every time I go that I hate going to the dentist. Like, this is my least
I know, and they're
favorite thing
probably
to
like,
do,
yes,
'cause I'm
we
always
know.
like, they're
We're
going
the
to
most
tell me I have
revised
to get a
profession.
filling, and I hate it. So
Them and like I don't even know. Probably dentists. Dentist would be the most provide like that and orthodontist for us that were stuck in braces. But forget orthodontist. We got a really big week this week, April.
Yeah. we do.
Let's
So
sing
this is
out to the
PA
unsungs.
week. Yeah.
Yes.
So we already talked about it a little bit, but it is PA week. So physician assistant,
Happy PA
slash
week.
physician associate, depending on where you are and what name you're using. But yes, so as we talked about during APP week recently, PAs do play a huge role in our healthcare that we provide today across sound, but also outside of sound everywhere. So thank you to the PAs out there for all the work that you do. You really make a huge impact in the lives of your patients and their families. So thank you, and we hope you have a happy week.
That's right. Happy APP week. And hey, PAs. I said
just say
APP. I'm sorry. Hey, happy PA week, but you are one of our APPs.
That's true.
I can't keep up with all of our celebrations for our people. So happy PA week. And for our PAs out there, hey, if one of you guys want to send us an email, because nobody else is, please send us an email at oncallpodcast@soundphysicians.com. We would love to hear some show ideas from you guys, and we would love to hear just some feedback generally. What are your healthcare headlines? What are some stories that you guys are seeing? You can follow us on LinkedIn. That's On Call with April and Alicia. You can also follow us on Instagram, On Call with April and Alicia. You can listen to our podcast. Please subscribe, follow us. We'd love to engage with you guys. Any show ideas, like I mentioned, that you have, let us know. Any feedback, anything. We'd love to hear from you guys. It's been great. We love talking to you, and we look forward to our next week with you.
Absolutely. And until next time, you stay well, and we'll stay on call.
Happy PA week, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.